Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Let's Eat. Today, we're going to have some fun with our episode. This was not planned, but actually, no, that's not true. I had thoughts about this particular topic in the upcoming weeks, but I've been so focused in on either functional testing or holistic pet care, which there are plenty more episodes to come centered on those topics. But I decided this morning, let's talk a little bit more about the upcoming summer season and the warmer months. I got up this morning and I let tallow out, and then I sat on the deck and I journaled and I did some meditation. And that is like my favorite part about the warmer weather is getting up and it being warm enough to sit outside and have my coffee and take the time for myself and enjoy that. So I thought, you know what? In the spirit of things, why not go ahead and record an episode all about this? Now, it was a little counterproductive because I am now sitting at my desk inside recording this episode when I could be sitting outside. It's still early in the morning. I have my latte with me. I have some water with me. I had to put tallow in her crate because she is not to be trusted unsupervised just yet. So we are going to get to this episode so that I can get her out of the crate and I can, go enjoy the sunrise and the morning. But first, we're going to talk all about why summer is truly the best time to invest in your health. Truly the best time. And I feel as though summer gets this reputation as being the worst time to invest in our health. And, this is often because this is the time we're going on vacations, or, you know, maybe you are celebrating a whole bunch. This time of year, especially, there's graduation parties, there's bridal showers, there's weddings, and then we're, nearing 4th of July, which is crazy to me. We're already into the middle of June. It's wild. And so there's typically a lot of reasons why people try to avoid that and maybe put it off until the fall. But I want to offer you and essentially convince you that this is the best time to put your health forward. Now, disclaimer here, I feel every time of year is the best time of year to put your health forward. Okay, so that's my personal belief system, but I'm here to really emphasize and drive that more specific point home around why this time of year is the most conducive to it and why we should be taking advantage of these warmer months to invest in our health, to establish habits so that we're able to then step into the fall and winter with a solid foundation established and be able to use that momentum to move into a time of year that might feel a little bit more challenging. I think I've been in this space long enough to know that moving into October, November, December, that is absolutely a very challenging time for people with all the holidays and everything going on. I hosted a free accountability group on Facebook the past 2 years called Whole for the Holidays. And I am excited because I plan to do it again this year and I want to get more creative with it and whatnot. But there were about 250 members last year, which is wild. And essentially it was just a group for me to share different wellness tips and recipes and ideas and guidance and so forth. Nothing directly, one-on-one, unless somebody obviously wanted that type of support, but it was just a space, a community for individuals to feel as though they can turn to better support their health as we're moving through the holidays because like I said, that is definitely the hardest time for most people. So, for today, I want to really just open the floor for conversation around why the summer is ideal and what you can do to best support your health as we move through it. Even with all of the gatherings and the parties and the barbecues and the festivities and the travel and the this, the that. Still, there are lots of things that we can take advantage of during this time of year to really feel our best. And I am determined in the next 45 minutes to convince you and to get you on board with me in order to do that. Now, before we dive into the episode, I do also want to mention that functional lab testing is right around the corner. I have been accepting free consults now. So if you're listening to this episode upon release, you can go ahead and schedule a free 45-minute consult the week of June 23rd, that whole week. My schedule is available, and you can click the link in the show notes and go ahead and schedule to see if testing is right for you. And if you schedule for that week, you will be locked into the early bird discount. So I am offering a discount to both current clients of mine as well as individuals who schedule for that week. And if you're listening to this at a later date, you can go ahead and schedule the consult whenever you feel led. But functional testing is transformative, and I'm so excited. I feel like it's Christmas Eve every single day these past couple weeks and moving forward because I am so excited to be able to dive into this. And truthfully, I mean, I've only just begun. I'm being trained in these foundational labs, which are life changing. But there is so much room for growth and expansion around so many thousands of other labs that are out there that can provide us information on so much. So I, in true Emily fashion, am already getting ahead of myself and, looking into, okay, what else can I get trained in? What else can I learn? What other, tests can I get, authorized and be able to work with individuals on, and all that good stuff. And so it's exciting because this feels so in alignment with I can just continue to sharpen my skill set and introduce new tests and grow and learn and invest and just continue to hone in on my ability to administer, interpret, and support clients with tests. And there's just no limit to it. I mean, the limit does not exist here. I can just continue to learn, and there's so many resources out there in order to do that. And I'm excited. I think I'm going to look into another program to start come the fall. So there's just a lot of exciting things, and I cannot wait to be able to dive fully into this work. So that is right around the corner. So once again, if you're interested, go ahead and schedule the week of June 23rd. You will be locked into early bird discount. I will explain pricing and all that on our first call. The first call is not commitment. There's no strings attached to it. It's just an opportunity for me to hear from you about what's going on, how you're feeling, what your needs are, and then if testing is something that is appropriate for, you know, what exactly it is that's going on, and I can explain to you the tests and what they look like and what they'll show us and why they're important, and then go from there. So, I'm excited. I hope you're excited, but let's lay the foundation first and foremost. If functional testing is or is not a part of your future, summer is a part of your future, and I'm excited to share with you a little bit about why it is the best time of year to invest in your mental and your physical health. So, thank you so much for being here and joining me back at the table. And let's dive in. Let's eat. Welcome to Let's Eat. I'm your host, Emily, certified holistic health coach, functional nutrition expert, and self-proclaimed wellness enthusiast, here to meet you at the intersection of physical and mental health, the space within which we become well. This podcast is meant to explore all areas of mind and body wellness, designed to offer you the integrative knowledge, behavioral strategies, and mindset shifts necessary to uplevel your health and feel better today. We'll explore nutrition, sleep, movement, self-care and stress management, habits and routines, self-development, gut health, mental health, and more. I am so happy that you're here. Welcome to the table. Let's eat. So, hello. I already said that. Let's set the scene a little bit. It is the morning. You might hear it in my voice. I have a latte with me. I have my water with me. And this week has been a very busy week. and it's all good and it's all things that I love, and there's just a lot of things. There's just a lot of things happening, and it's a lot. I said that on Sunday. I said, "I just had a lot. There's just a lot." I had no other words for it. I was like, this is just a lot." There's a lot going on. But it's all good. It's all happy and productive and whatnot, but it's just a lot. So we are rocking and rolling, getting through. I don't want to say getting through. We're moving through this week. I have to represent the restaurant on Friday at a golf outing. I've done this for probably the past 6 or 7 years. So that is something I'm also preparing for this week. I have to make jello shots for the golfers. So I have a handle of Tito's sitting on my countertop right now, very off brand of me. And then Saturday, my mom is having a barbecue. So I have to drive up to my mom's. I have to teach 2 Pilates classes in the morning, and then I have to drive up to my mom's. I get to drive up to my mom's. I'm also, fingers crossed, getting a new car today. If you don't know, I totaled my car 2 weeks ago. I hit a deer, and it was a whole big mess, and my car is no more, and it was actually very I don't think I talked about this. I will probably talk about this on the family dinner episode. I feel like I had a hard time with it, like, knowing that they were taking it away from me and that it was gonna be gone and that was gonna be it. Like, it was very hard. Just because having just lost Lou in February, it felt like they were taking more away from me, that I have memories with Lou and her fur is still in the car. So it kind of just felt like that was a piece of her that I was still holding on to. I don't know. I hope you get it. If you don't get it, that's okay. But yeah, so they took the car away from me. So I'm hopefully getting a new car today. I'm going to look at a car that my dad looked at on Monday, and I'll talk about that at another episode. And then Father's Day on Sunday. And then next week, I'm teaching a lot. I looked at my calendar. I was like, holy cow, I picked up a lot of Pilates classes for next week. So I think I'm teaching like 5 or 6 classes next week. Like, okay, but I don't know when I committed. I'm happy about it. Don't get me wrong, but I think I don't know. I was surprised to see that. So all good things, all very happy things, and testing is on its way. So I've been preparing for that and getting myself into gear for that. I know a lot of my current clients are very excited about it, and I'm very, very, very excited to support my current clients and obviously new clients and interested clients in this, but especially current clients because I have relationships with them, I care about them, and I know what their situation is. And I know that this is going to bring them so much value. So if you are a current client of mine, this is my shout out to you. And I can't wait to walk on this new journey with you. I'm looking forward to it. And new clients as well. I look forward to getting to know you and being able to support you. So, enough of that. Let's talk about the summer. Okay, so let's talk about the reputation that summer typically gets. Like I said before, summer I feel like is oftentimes, there's a hustle or like a grind before the summer starts. And then we go into the summer and we blink and it's over. And usually it's filled with the usual suspects, travel, ice cream, barbecues, things of that capacity, right? And there's nothing inherently wrong with those things. That's what the summer is meant for. I mean, the summer in New Jersey is going down the shore and having barbecues. And, even growing up, I was always either, swimming in the river that was behind my house or swimming in our pool and like going down the beach and being outside and spending hours and hours doing things on our deck. And, so all very fond memories of the enjoyment that comes with the summer months, especially being a kid and getting to be out of school. I mean, there's nothing better than like the last day of school. That was like that feeling was, I mean, up through high school, I feel like that was like the best feeling in the whole world, just knowing those last like couple days of school, they were just like mandatory because you had to go, but you weren't really doing anything and everyone was just signing yearbooks and like that like visceral feeling I feel like I'm trying to connect with right now because it just felt so good. And so now as an adult, that looks a little differently. Now, if you work full time, you know that the summer is just the summer is just nothing really, different than what it is during the other months of the year, right? I think I, as a grad student and being in grad school up until I think I was 26, I got to hold on to, I mean, I still kind of do because my schedule's pretty non-traditional, unconventional, we'll call it. So up until grad school, I had those like summers. So up until 26, I was, kind of still in that. I mean, even though I took summer classes and whatnot, I was still kind of in that energy of like, oh, it's the last day of school. And so I got to kind of prolong that feeling for some time. But now as an adult, I think there's a different energy to it. And I want to I want to get you excited about all that the summer can offer you from a health perspective so that you can take advantage of it. And then, like I said in the beginning, looking at it as an opportunity to reinforce habits that are probably going to be easier for you this time of year in comparison to other times of year. And that I think is the foundation of it all is just habit establishment and creating that routine and that rhythm so that going into the fall, you have that you have that established. Now, I think we can celebrate the fact that if you do work full time, that your schedule is likely very much the same. So it's not like you're going from all this free time and all this flexibility that is, unless you're a teacher or something, something of that nature, and then going into the fall and being like, "Okay, well, how do I still make this work even in, a schedule that looks differently now?" If you're working full time during the summer, you can create these habits, you can create these rhythms, and then they're a little bit more ingrained in you so that come the fall, they are just a part of who you are. And then come the holiday months, you're feeling stronger than ever. And you have that 6 months behind you to support you and move you through a season that tends to be a little bit more challenging. So, first and foremost, let's talk about kind of like motivation and like the mindset that we all tend to have. This kind of connects to what I was just saying, like the excitement about summer, like the energy behind summer. I feel like just collectively there is this different energy that comes with the summer in comparison to what will come with like January. You can correct me if you think that that's not correct. But I mean, don't get me wrong, there obviously is this kind of new year, new me energy that comes along with January, but that is fleeting, right? We know what happens there. I have plenty of episodes talking about this kind of January effect where we get into January feeling ready to rock and roll and then it wears off and then we're on to the next thing, right? So think about it through the lens of if I'm just feeling generally more excited, more energized, more positive, that is going to help you facilitate goal achievement much more than it's dark, it's gloomy, it's cold, I don't want to do anything at all. I think that to me is just that's the obvious, right? Like if you're feeling better about the season in the months ahead in the sense of you just feel more positive or more energized or you're just in a better mood, that is going to help you feel better about goals that you might have for yourself, health and wellness goals, whatever they look like. So, just right off the bat, there is a power player in this equation. Now, I don't want to say that every single person is feeling motivated and energized and, excited for the summer. That might not be the case. This might be a really hard time for people, and I don't ever want to come across as insensitive in that regard. So, please know this is not a general statement. However, for the most part, I would say people do feel excited for this time of year and the sunshine and, the warmth and so forth. And so with that said, that will help you at least from a frame of mind perspective, feel a little bit more energized and ready to go for any kind of health and wellness goals. Next, during this time of year, you have more access to fresher food. This is a wonderful time to reach for local fresh produce. And I was just saying this to a client yesterday. I don't think that there is anything better than fruits and veggies that have been grown and harvested and then are immediately at your local farm stand or farmer's market, maybe a couple days later, and then it's on your table that night. There is nothing more wholesome, more nutritious than that. And there's so many ways for us to access it. Now, obviously, being in a rural area where I grew up and where I live, there is an abundance of this. This might not be the case everywhere, but there's a lot of, I joined a CSA a couple years ago, a community supported agriculture program. And this was great. It supported local farms. It allowed me to try new produce because I wasn't really in control of what produce I was getting. They would just give me a box of produce every week. And that was a lot of fun. I really, really like that. I would love to do that again. I just have to find a farm that's closer to me to do that. But this time of year, the more that you can reach for local seasonal produce, the more you are supporting your mind and body. And so I encourage you to seek that out in your area. Seek out what are the local farm stands? Where are the local farmers markets? Where can I prioritize this over the course of my week, even if it's just a couple things, to be able to turn to that in comparison to just buying your produce from the store, you are significantly supporting your health in doing so. Now, sometimes I talk about this and I think this is actually a perfect opportunity to really kind of emphasize how valuable it is to shop locally and to buy produce that's in season and that's in your area. There's something called a cellular respiration rate. And the best way for me to describe it is if you are buying, say, blueberries from Argentina, you are buying it from the store, and the travel that it took for these blueberries to come from Argentina, who knows how long it took for them to get from Argentina to, I'll say, New Jersey, right? And what happens is the blueberries rely on their own nutrition in order to maintain their freshness, because once they're harvested and they're no longer planted, essentially, they have to maintain their freshness, right? It's like a preservation. And so essentially they're relying on the nutrition that exists within them in order to do that. So this could be a week, this could be, who knows, 10 days that it takes for that travel to take place versus what you're getting from your local farm stand, farmer's market, CSA, where you are, or even your garden. I don't want to exclude that. Your garden too, if you're someone who likes the garden. What you're getting from any of those options, your cellular respiration rate is going to be so much shorter because you're probably harvesting it and then it's making its way to your table maybe 24, 48, 72 hours to follow. So just think about that. I love sharing on that. I think that really kind of illustrates how valuable, local produce and seasonal produce is, because when it's seasonal, you're getting it in its peak when it's meant to be consumed. We're spoiled. We have a luxury of being able to access produce all months of the year, but a strawberry in the winter is nothing compared to a strawberry in the spring or late spring and summer. There's just the same with blueberries. I mean, you buy blueberries in the winter, they're rough, they're brutal. And then you buy strawberry or blueberries in the summer, or up by my sister in Michigan, they have so many pick your own blueberry farms. I'm like, that is so cool to me. Like, I love that. And she's gone. I don't think I've ever gone, but she's gone and gotten like these just massive, massive baskets of blueberries. And I love that. I think that's the coolest thing. It is a little time consuming though, but I love that. It's totally worth it for what you're going to get for it. But just think about like how seasonal produce is so much more nutritious because you're harvesting it at its peak. It's being grown in optimal conditions, and that is what we're meant to consume. Now, I know that that's not always plausible. We can't always eat seasonally. I think eating seasonally is great because not only is that rotating our nutrition, and we know we need a lot of nutritional diversity in order to have a healthy gut. We want healthy guts, but also the micronutrition from different plants, and different types of plants, and what it's bringing to the body is so unique. And so, being sure that you're rotating it is going to allow you to get the most nutrition and optimal nutrition, but especially if you're eating more seasonally. And so eating more seasonally, buying locally, that is, I think, one of the very best things that we can do to support our health. I have a farmer's market that I go to. For those of you who are local, if you haven't gone to the Easton Farmers Market, go to the Easton Farmers Market. I love it there. I haven't gone yet this season. That is because I'm trying to work out. I teach Pilates now at 9:45 on Saturdays, and I'm the type of person that I need to be there right when they open, and if I'm not, I don't wanna go because it's so, so busy and parking is a mess. So, I'm trying to figure out, okay, how do I get there at, like, 8:50 and still have time to do what I wanna do and get what I wanna get and kinda spend my time and then also get to class at 9:40 or even before 9:45 because I have to go early. So I'm still working out the logistics. I might have to just bite the bullet and say, all right, Emily, you're going afterwards, and it is what it is. But I'm excited to go and take tallow. But there's a couple organic farm stands there. There's a meat person there that I like. There's there's a sourdough vendor that I like. They have homemade kimchi and sauerkraut there, so love it there. So my goal for the summer is to really try and only buy my produce from there. We'll see how that goes. Every year, though, they have the most beautiful, stunning celery ever, 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 and I buy it just to juice it because it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful, so I cannot wait to go and enjoy the beautiful celery. Okay, so this is your summertime encouragement reminder. Go seek out local. There's so many benefits to it. You're supporting your local community. Nothing better than that, and you're doing your body so much good in doing so. Next, the options for movement are greater in the summer than in the fall, or than, I guess, in the winter. I guess in the fall you can still do some of these things, but especially in the summer, we can walk, which I'm on in my walking era. I'm gonna go for a walk after this. We can hike, we can bike, we can swim, we can garden. We can do so many things activity-wise in the warmer months. So many things. And that to me is amazing because we no longer have maybe the excuse of, oh, well, it gets dark too early, or it's dark when I get up, or it's too cold, or whatever the case might be. It's about making time and making a priority to do something active, especially now that the sun is much more abundant and it's much more present for us this time of year. In the mornings, it's up. In the evenings, I mean, right now it's not going down until like 8:30. So this time of year especially, it just promotes more activity. It promotes more, I guess, like less intentional activity. Like you can go to the gym and lift weights and that's great, but I feel like this time of year especially, we're just outside more in whatever fashion that looks like for you. Like that is that is not one size fits all. I mean, you can be outside for a number of reasons, whether it's like, oh, I'm cleaning my car, or I'm gardening, or I'm just outside with the dog, or whatever the case is. Like you're just outside more, but we tend to be more active. And further, there are more opportunities for us to be active this time of year. So with that said, this allows us to take better care of our health, because if we're just organically more active this time of year because of the fact that it's warmer out, the sun is up longer, then it's more conducive to investing in our health. Okay, I hope did that make sense there? It's more conducive to investing in our health. Now, this is a small kind of jab to to take advantage of it, right? We have this option. We have this opportunity. Get outside. If you have the option to walk on a treadmill or walk outside, go walk outside. Now, obviously, caveat, if you don't feel safe walking outside, or if it's dark out, or you're alone and you don't want to, then walk on the treadmill. That's fine. I'm never going to tell you, like, oh no, you have to. But walking outside, like the benefits of walking or being outside in nature, doing activity in nature, or just being outside. Okay, I don't even have to say nature per se, because maybe you're in more of an urban area and there's less, we'll say nature, but just being outside and getting active outside, the health benefits are profound. They're profound. So if you have the opportunity, given the warmer months, given the summer is more conducive to doing these types of things, then take advantage of it, because you'll be sitting inside on your treadmill in January, if you're on your treadmill in January, and looking outside at the snow and yearning for days like this. Okay, so get outside, get moving, make it a priority. Getting creative with your activity during the summer months, because you can, is one of the best things for your physical health and your mental health. But activity and diversifying, and like I said, diversifying nutrition is valuable, but diversifying your movement is valuable too. During the summer months, if you have access to swimming, like I have the pool in my complex. Swimming is such a great low impact exercise, but I don't get that all year long. So I should go take advantage of that like once a week and swim, because I can. And you're challenging your body in a different way. And that's a big piece of my work with clients. Now, I'm not a personal trainer. Obviously, I'm a Pilates instructor, so I have some knowledge. And over the years, through my own fitness journey and what I've learned, I understand the value of diversified movement. But if we're doing the same thing, whether it's the same types of, strength training, or, we're not challenging our muscles and our body in different ways, that's not growthful. Our muscles will get used to that. Our muscles can plateau. So this time of year, if you have access to different forms of movement, go do it. Go do it. That is so incredibly important. Now, also alongside this, and kind of as a segue, there is such a greater abundance of vitamin D this time of year, and so many of us are deficient in vitamin D. You would be so surprised. And unfortunately, doctors are not very good at telling you when you're low. I'm going to be completely honest. I was low for many years and no one told me. I had to go back into my own blood work and see for years. I was getting and this was before I even looked, I would even care to look at my blood work. Okay. And now I'm like ravenous for blood work. Give me all the blood work. I want to see it. I want to know it. I want to compare it. One of my best friends has been sending me her GI maps, and that's not blood work, that's a stool analysis, but she's been sending me her GI maps, because I'm like, I want to, any GI map, anything I can look at where I can expand and, understand and support, give it to me. I want to learn. I want to interpret. I want to understand it. So anyways, watch out for me, because I'll be coming for your blood work. But anyways, my vitamin D was low for years. Now, the I believe the conventional range for vitamin D is 20 to 40, but the optimal range is, I believe, 30 to 60. So even if I'm in, like, I think I probably was at like 22 maybe. That's not where I want to be, and that's not where I want to stay. I need to be well above that. And no doctor, it could have been lower, I don't remember, but no doctor was telling me that it was low. So not only for the sake of our vitamin D levels, getting exposure to the sun is valuable for a number of reasons. Light is our body's master regulator, and our circadian rhythm relies on light. And our hormones rely on light, our metabolism relies on light, our mood relies on light. So much relies on light, because that essentially is something that has been around for centuries, thousands and thousands and thousands of years, and our biology is impacted by it. This is oftentimes why people suggest getting morning sunlight, which I've said that before on the podcast. I've said that on social media. But then also in the evenings, avoiding exposure to artificial light so that our body can register that it's nighttime. Dimming the lights if we can, avoiding our phones, which obviously is, I feel like, a eternal work in progress for most of us. Avoiding screens, just because we're trying to synchronize our body to know when the light is present, that's when we should be awake, and that is when we should be in the daytime and functioning and alert. When there's no light present, that's when we want to get to sleep. So understanding that and then looking at that through the lens of the sunlight and how present the sunlight is during this time of year. I just brought tallow out at 5:30 and the sun was up, and it's great for both of our circadian rhythms to get sunlight. So, taking advantage of it. During the colder months when the sun is up, it's not always the most comfortable to be outside in the cold and getting that sunlight exposure and letting it, hit our face and our chests and our arms and our bodies to support our health. But during the warmer months when it's like 70 degrees at 7 a.m. and you're outside, you have no trouble getting all that sunlight. In fact, you'd probably stay out there for hours if you could. And then similarly in the evening, watching the sunset is actually also really good for our circadian rhythm. And so, if you're able to, getting outside as the sun is setting, that's also really powerful for our sleep. So, it's the sunrise and the sunset that gives us and our bodies that cue of where we should be physiologically, essentially, alongside a host of other benefits that comes along with it. And luckily, the sun is not setting at 4 o'clock. The sun is setting now at 8, 8:30. And most of us are through with our day by that point, and we should be taking advantage of it. So, getting outside in the sunlight and throughout the day in getting in sunlight is great to support healthy cortisol levels, to kind of continually give that stimuli to the body that it's daytime, it's daytime, it's daytime, and then starting to kind of lessen our light exposure in the evening, but especially getting that kind of visual cue as the sun's setting, that's also incredible for our health. So that is another reason why the summer is most conducive to supporting our biology. And this kind of ties into why daylight savings is so questionable because of the fact that, I mean, there are a number of compelling arguments as to why we should be doing away with daylight savings just from a health perspective and recognizing how profoundly influential it is on our health in a negative way. But then also because of this concept too, where, if we could have greater daylight, think about the health implication that that could bring. Like, think about how much different our health could be as a result of it because of because of the impact that light has on our health. And just as another comment about the vitamin D piece, seasonal affective disorder is no longer considered part of the DSM, I believe. It's now just a subcategory under depression, but this is a very real thing, and vitamin D deficiency plays a massive role in that. Limited light exposure, limited access to that kind of natural source of vitamin D. Vitamin D deficiency is linked to depression. So it's just really fascinating because I think during the colder months, there's a lot of factors that play into one's mood and how they're feeling and health and all that, mental and physical. But there's such a striking difference between how someone feels during the colder months and during the darker months in comparison to the warmer, lighter, longer months, longer day months. And you can't not suggest and argue that there has to be a light component to that. No doubt about it. So, just something to keep in mind. Take advantage of the opportunity to, support your body and your health. Vitamin D is so incredibly important. It's so important. And this is oftentimes a deficiency that exists within most people, unfortunately, and it's such a critical piece to our health. So, something to keep in mind. Next, summer is oftentimes less stressful, and that is an obvious benefit, an obvious plus to supporting your health. We know the impact that stress can have on the body, and we know the impact that stress can have long term. And so utilizing this time of year to invest in your health, which is what we call in FDN supporting your vital reserve. Okay. If you're going to work with me with testing, you'll hear that quite a bit. But essentially, it's filling your cup and improving your body's ability to respond more effectively to stress, improving your body's resilience towards stress. And so during this time of year, kind of giving yourself the opportunity to decompress and to lay low, maybe, or relax, or take more time for yourself, or whatever the case might be, that can be a really great way to kind of recharge for the summer, for the upcoming months. And not only that, I mean, moving your body and spending time in nature and eating real whole foods, all the things that I just listed, that is all very much an act of stress reduction and stress management and self care and building up your vital reserve. And if you're taking vacations or if your work schedule becomes more flexible or whatever the case is, this gives you greater opportunity to disconnect from responsibilities, from the work, from whatever the case might be, and gives you more of a ample opportunity to take care of yourself and invest in your routines and maybe sleep in more, or maybe you have more free time to go find a farmer's market or to go for a walk or whatever the case might be. So summer, I think generally speaking, can be less stressful overall, we'll say. And as a result of that, we can take more time for ourselves and we can devote more time to our health. And just generally speaking, if it's less stressful, that's just better off for the whole body. We love that. Anything that can be less stressful, the more we can reduce the stress that we have in our lives, the better off we'll be and the healthier we'll be. That's super important. Not only that, during the summer months, I tend to find now, obviously, during the winter and during the holidays, this can be the case too. But I would argue we're probably more social during the summer months. And that is super, super helpful. So important that we spend time with friends and family and we connect and we spend time in community, right? And so taking advantage of that too is very healthy. I mean, social isolation and being disconnected and not having meaningful relationships, all of that connects to both our physical and our mental health. So the more that we can take advantage of that during the summer, whether it's through barbecues or, going on walks with other individuals or joining, events of some kind, going to like a group fitness event or whatever the case might be, all of that has significant value for your mind and your body. So, I'm sure there are plenty more suggestions and reasons why summer is the best time to invest in your health, but I'm going to wrap up with just some final thoughts about it. Like I said in the beginning, I believe, and because I'm mildly is an understatement, biased about this, I believe that we should be investing in our health and our wellness all year long. And I think we can in a reasonable and sustainable way. And if you want to learn how, you know where to find me. However, this time of year especially, there are greater opportunities for us to really lean in to the basics of health: movement, sleep, circadian rhythm support, real foods, local foods, nutrient dense foods, stress management, self care, getting in nature, all of that. I forgot to mention walking barefoot. I don't, I, I'm a, I, okay, let me use my words here. I am like anti shoe. I don't know if anyone else is like this, but I am anti shoe. I just, I think this is like back in childhood growing up. Like during the warmer months, I never wore shoes. I mean, going outside, I never, ever, 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 ever wore shoes. I just have so many vivid memories of just walking around all summer long without shoes on. And I kind of do that now. I recorded a get morning spend the morning with us video the other morning, and I took tallow out and I was wearing bare feet. And I feel like people were probably like, "What? I was wearing bare feet, Emily? You were wearing bare feet." Okay. Um I had bare feet. Or what's the proper term? I didn't wear shoes. Okay. Oh my goodness. I didn't wear shoes. And I went outside with her so she'd go to the bathroom, and I walked inside. I'm like, people are probably like so offended by that. And I don't even think twice about it. I'm like, I just wear bare feet. But oh my God, can I stop? Oh my goodness, I wear bare feet. Is that like how you say it? I had bare feet. I was in bare feet. I don't know what to say. Anyways, grounding, getting your feet in grass, grounding is such a wonderful, wonderful tool. Actually, I know this person's listening, so you know who you are if you're listening to this. I had an extensive conversation with a friend of mine about grounding, and we had a challenge to go out and step in the grass for like a certain amount of time. I failed at it miserably, which is shocking because like I just said, I'm always without shoes. I caught myself there. But connecting with grass and the earth can actually be very, very healthy. So that is something else that the summer allows for. If you're into that. I don't know if you're into that. I mean, I'm into that, but I'm not someone who's like very into like grounding. Like I feel like that's a little uh, I don't know. That's not something that I am doing all the time, but I'm just kind of inadvertently doing it because I just don't put shoes on. I prefer to drive without shoes. My mom told me one time that that's not safe, but I prefer to drive without shoes, so I don't know. I don't know if this is a weird thing about me or people do that. I don't know. Anyways, so oh my God, I can't believe I really should just not I should not share that part of the episode of me talking about wearing bare feet, but I think I have to. And someone needs to correct me because I don't really how do you say that? I was in bare feet. I was not wearing like I guess you could say I'm not wearing shoes, but I had bare feet. Anyways, the summer is a powerful, powerful time to take advantage of your health for all the reasons I just listed, and I'm sure there are plenty more that you could come up with on your own. My biggest takeaway here is to consider this. If you are on a wellness journey, lean into all of these things that I've just listed and start to brainstorm more ways for you to to take advantage of the summer based on your circumstances, based on what you have access to. And then if you are wanting to get started on a wellness journey, I hope that this helps you feel more encouraged about it. That this time of year, while there's a lot going on and there's a lot, of usually it's like I said in the beginning, there's a lot of, travel that can take place or parties or, we're here, there, and everywhere. And that's great. But there's also a lot of opportunity to utilize what the summer has to offer for the sake of better health because there's so much. There's so much that's offered to us this time of year in order to do that. So, I hope you feel encouraged. Once again, if you need support or you're interested in testing, what better time than the summer than to invest in your health in this way and take a deeper dive into what's going on underneath the surface because all of these wonderful things are happening around you as well. So the testing will just complement that and honestly the circumstances within the summer will help to facilitate your healing and your goals and I think that that's incredible. All the things I just listed will just help to bolster your vital reserve, which is what we call, our body's ability to handle stress and facilitate the healing process. And I think that that's huge. That is huge, huge, huge. And I'm really excited to dive into my work with the clients who are currently enrolled or ready to rock for testing because I can share all of these wonderful things with them and they will have all these tools to lean into in order to be successful. So I hear Tally crying, so this is my cue, and we're already at the 50-minute mark. Thank you so much for being here. I wish you a healthy and wholesome summer. I am here for support if you need it. I'm really excited. This is the first time I'm announcing this, but we are going to roll into a series in the month of July all about the tests that I will be offering, and not so much to test themselves, but also just learning about how the gut impacts our hormones, why the liver is such a key player in all of this. Understanding food sensitivities, exploring a GI map and what certain bacteria means and why they're important, and just really kind of robustly covering all of this part of our health and exploring the symptoms that we find in relation to dysfunction in these areas. And I'm excited to bring some greater education around this so you can really understand the value that testing can bring and what it can uncover for you. And then maybe it resonates. Maybe these are symptoms that you experience and how we've normalized bloating and acne and fatigue and indigestion and acid reflux and insomnia and all of these things. And it's just really unfortunate. And it's leaving a lot of people suffering and living subpar lives. And I'm here to hopefully work against that. So I appreciate you. I thank you. Like I said, 'tis the season to turn it up, to kick it up a notch and invest in your health. So I hope that you do that. And until next time, be well.